In this session, we will try to understand about Docker, container, why we use container, primary difference between a VM and a container, what are the frequently used terminologies when working with Docker. All right. So we'll go ahead and do the installation and then few commands related to Docker. Okay, to get started. So Docker is an open source, lightweight container technology for virtualization. All right. So this tool is designed to make it easier to create, deploy, and run various applications using containers. Right, so what is a container? Okay, if you go by the dictionary definition of container, it's an object for holding and transporting something. Similarly, when you come to container in IT arena, it is used to store the entire environment of the application, which includes all its dependencies like different libraries, configuration files, volume, mount points, base images, etc. Okay, so the entire packaging is saved. All right, and if you are still confused, to put it in a simple way, in a layman's term, this is taken from the web. A Docker container can be seen as a computer inside your computer, which is very lightweight, maybe in KBs or MBs. And the good part about this virtual machine is that when you send it to a colleague or a friend, and when they start this computer on their machine and run your application, they get the same output as you got. All right. So what is a difference between the virtual machine and a container? This diagram quickly tells you about the difference. You have a server, host OS, hypervisor. All right. So in virtual machine, the virtualization is done on the hardware level. Okay. So that you can accommodate more guest OS, like Windows or Linux or any operating system. Okay, and then on that operating system you have your application running. It could be a database, MySQL, it could be an Apache Tomcat, okay, any application, but it will have a operating system on it. Okay, the application will be working on the operating system. But when you come to container, the virtualization is done on the OS level to accommodate more number of applications. Okay, so if you see here, it's server, host OS, container engine, and then you can see the applications on the top of it. So container uses the technology of kernel operating system, of the kernel of the operating system, and it uses the kernel feature like C group and namespace, which does the isolation of the process containers, and it segregates the CPUs and the memory among the containers, right? So going ahead, why do you use container? You use container because it is much more lightweight when compared to virtual machines, as it takes very fewer resources, and containers are in the size of the containers are in few megabytes when compared to VM. Okay, it doesn't have the entire operating system, as it uses only the kernel of the operating system. Okay, it takes very less time to start the container. Maybe it goes in seconds. All right, and the application is up and running. So what are the commands, or what are the few terminologies which are used when working with Docker? Okay, if you see here, you have image, you have container, you have Docker file, you have registry. So image is nothing but it's a read-only template or blueprint with OS and other software installed on it. Okay, so a container is nothing but an instance of an OS or image. Okay, and then Docker file is a text file which contains a set of commands that we use to build an image. Okay, what is a registry? Registry is a repository of Docker images. Okay, Docker Hub contains thousands of images. All right, so if you want to download any images, you have a command called Docker pull, and if you want, if you have done some build and you want to push it to your repository or Docker Hub, and then you have a command called Docker push. Okay, so Docker Hub is a public registry. Okay, so by the way, my name is Kumar, and for any inputs and training, you can contact me at coach.rhca@gmail.com. All right, So let's go ahead and do the installation and run few Docker commands, just to get you the feel of it. All right. So let's get started with the installation of Docker. Right. So that would be get and q hello, and then you can get it from https://docker.com/search. All right, so there are different ways of installing Docker. If you are using CentOS, that you can go ahead, CentOS or Red Hat, you can go ahead with yum command. Okay, yum install Docker, and if you are using Ubuntu or Debian, then you can get ahead with apt-get command. So there is actually recommended installation by Docker, which uses the bash script that what we are running now actually. So it's installing it. All right, so now we are back to the prompt. So we have installed the Docker. Now let's go quickly and check if the Docker services are running. Let's check, and it's not running. Okay, before that, I'll check my interfaces. I have only one interface, that is ETH0. So let me just go ahead and start the services of Docker, and then check the status, which we have already command there. So it is running now. Okay, and if I go ahead and check the interfaces, you will find a new interface, that is Docker 0. Okay, so usually this interface is a bridge interface. Okay, and then it gets an IP address of in the range of 172.17. Okay, so any container that you create will get an IP address, of in this range 172.17 range. All right, so we have started the services. Now Docker is running. Let me just go ahead and check the Docker version. All right, so we have a version of 18.09.2. Okay, so right, let me check with few other commands. Docker images. So we do not have any Docker images running, and then let me check if we have any Docker container running. So absolutely there is no container at all. So let's go ahead and get started with let's start our first hello world container. Be hello-world. Okay, so it's seeing the images. Okay, and it's not able to find the image locally, so it goes and fetches the images from the Docker hub. All right, so unable to find the image, and then it says pulling it from the library. Okay, and the purpose of this is it's only says hello from Docker. Okay, so let's go ahead and check now if we same command Docker images, and then you find that you have one image of hello world. Okay, and then let's check the container again, and then you see that there is absolutely no container again, because when we ran this command, the purpose of this container was to only print hello world. Okay, after that it exited. So if you can see here, the status is exited. Okay, so let's go ahead and uh, try something more as with the Ubuntu. Let's go ahead and run this command of docker run and log in interactively to the Ubuntu container. Okay, I'll run this command. Again, it sees whether you have the image locally or not, and then it fetches from there. Okay, and then you're back. Okay, so let's go and check. We are inside the container now, so I'll do this etc star release. Okay, so we have a container, and we are at the terminal session of that container in the bash prompt, and this container is a Ubuntu container. Okay, So let me exit from this container. Okay, and then let me check if I have that container running now. Container is still not working. There's a command called ps-a which actually shows you all the container, whether it is running or stopped. Okay, so now the Ubuntu is also in the stop state. It's exited because we ran it in the interactive mode, but we'll have to run it in a detached mode for it to run in the background. Okay, let's go ahead and check how do we do that. So let me just go ahead and try with the WordPress. What I'm doing here is I'm just running a Docker run, and then in a detached mode, so that when you exit from the terminal session, it should not exit the container. Okay, and then we are actually mapping the container port. Okay, so that when the WordPress starts, we can see the web page WordPress. Okay, let's go ahead and run this command. All right, so we are back with prompt. Okay, and if you see here, I'll run a docker ps. Now we have a container which is actually running. So to see which container, the latest container which are running, we have a command called ps-l. Okay, so it's up since 34 seconds. Okay, and let me just go ahead and log into this container. That will be container exec is the command -it. Okay, to log into the interactive mode, and then I'll take the container ID and let me just do a pin bash. It takes me to this container. Okay, so if you want to see again, star release, and then it says that it's a DB. Okay, let me check if what process I have. It's a WordPress, so it should be something like Apache. You can see the Apache process running here. All right, so if I exit this container, I still have that container running. Okay, let me check if I'm able to see the WordPress. Okay, and let me check what are the images we have. So we have now 3 images. Okay, and so container technology is not a very new technology. If people who have worked on Solaris, there's a Solaris container called Zones, that was there. Okay, so now I have a working container as well as the images also. Okay, so if I just do Docker top, and I can see, without going into this container of WordPress, I can see what are the process which are running here. All right, so now if I want to stop this container which is already running, I will do a docker stop, and then I'll take this container ID or a container name, and then I'll stop it. So if I do it again, so if you can see here, now it's in the exited state. All right, so let me go ahead and remove them. So since all of them are in the exited state, okay, so what I do is a docker yes -q and -a is the command which actually does that, and let's go and check again. Okay, so we are back with no containers. All right, so let me go and check the images. If you do not have any working images that you, I mean, if you're not using any images which you require, then you can just do this command and remove the images too. Okay, so it deletes all the container. Okay, so everything has been reclaimed. You can see this command. All right, so that was it about the container part. All right, so if you have any input or if you require any training, you can drop me a line at coach.rhca@gmail.com. Okay, happy learning. Take care.